Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of Black Cloud Travels. My name is Doris. The date is June 23rd, and it is our 45th day on the road. The reason we are going so slowly is because I wanted you to see where we spent the night. That was a very spectacular view. I had read that the Continental Divide was somewhere in the area, and I could have almost believed that it was where we camped for the night. However, the fact is it was a little further down the road. Unfortunately, they did not allow overnight camping at the Continental Divide. It was only a rest stop. The Yukon geological website says that the Dempster Highway summits the Continental Divide between the Pacific and Arctic Oceans at kilometre 82 and traverses two mountain ranges, the Ogilvie and Richardson Mountains. The only downside we had staying at that one spot for the night was that about an hour after we went to bed, a refrigerated truck pulled up behind us and decided, yeah, this is a really good place to park. For the rest of the night, every 20 minutes, his refrigerated tank cycled on and off and on and off. On top of that, we had 24-hour daylight. So sleeping that night was what we in the Star Trek world call a Kobayashi Maru, a no-win scenario. Regardless, staying there was totally worth it. We were so struck by the beauty and the profound serenity of it all. Yes, losing a night's sleep was no big deal. So what happens next is a little video that Frank put together shortly after we returned from our holiday. Now, this is everyone's worst nightmare, basically. And maybe I am being a little Armageddonish about this, but it did totally take us by surprise, and I'm sure you'll understand why. Now, Frank did kind of stretch this out a little long, but the end result is totally worth it. So what's coming up is a truck who is going way too fast. Now, me here in the driver's seat, I'm basically counting down the kilometers till we get to the end, because so far we have been incident free. So we are really not that far from the end, maybe 30, 40 kilometers. And we had gone almost 1,000 kilometers with nothing happening. And I felt very lucky and very blessed that we had so far gotten to this point without anything happening. It's amazing how things can change in a heartbeat. And it really kind of makes you think, okay, if this can happen so fast, what's next? So, in the distance, you should begin to see the car, well, I think it was a truck, coming towards us. Now, if the rock hitting the windshield doesn't startle you enough, just wait for both Frank and my reaction afterwards. Yes, indeed, that was a very colorful verbal transaction that took place there. What followed in the moments afterwards was some assessment and basically trying to figure out, okay, what next? We decided not to stop, but instead decided to just veer to the end and take a look when we got to the end of the Dempster. And from that, I will segue into a happier tone. And what you are about to see is Bobby. Bobby singing for the bunny. We didn't see much wildlife, but we did see a bunny that crossed our path as we were camping. And Bob could just not hold back. And here you can hear him sing. So from Bobby singing, I'm going to go into our music playlist as we drove the Dempster. We did listen to a lot of James Taylor, basically Sweet Baby James. I really enjoyed that song because the Dempster reminded me of a lot of things, and one of the things it reminded me of was the Gunslinger series, and I could just picture the lead character sitting by his campfire at night singing this song. It is a song about loneliness and wanting, and you can certainly sense that as you gaze upon the horizon here. Another song we listened a lot to was the Hooters, and in particular two songs, Zombie and 500 Miles Away from Home. If you're familiar with them, then you'll understand why their vocals would resonate so well with this landscape. And if you're not familiar with them, I invite you to fire them up on your iPhone and listen to them as you watch us go through here. I'm sure you'll see the similarities in the colors that the harmonies bring. One song that I wished we did have with us, but we did not, was David Bowie's Ashes to Ashes. And I was not far along in the Dempster near the beginning when I recognized the landscape as the one he shows in the video from the early 80s, Ashes to Ashes. It's a song about Major Tom being trapped on a desolate planet. And I got quite a tickle just kind of having this song run through my head as I looked at the stark mountains and the flat ground and the water, and I could easily envision this as having been the back set for that particular video. So, wanting to keep some semblance of chronological order in the dates, we left Tuktoyaktuk on June the 20th, and from there we drove to Inuvik, where just on the outskirts of town we stayed at a wonderful little campground called Jaks, Jaks, and they did have water and electric. There was no sewer available, but they did have the best shower ever. So that leads us to today, June 23rd, the day that we finished the Dempster Highway. So, if you look in the distance, you will begin to see the end of the Dempster. All the signs, the bridge. Yes, and here we are going to get out and take our pictures. The obligatory selfies, which were a lot of fun. It wasn't as busy as I had expected, so we just basically took our time. There were some people coming and going. What you see ahead of you is a cardlock gas station, the one that I pointed out to you just moments before we entered the Dempster Highway last week. And we will be going to our right, where a ways down the road we will find Dawson City. So here we are at the end of the Dempster. Frank and I would like to thank you for joining us on this journey, and we look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye for now.